Ever find yourself wide awake at 3 a.m., your mind racing with worries you can't switch off? Anxiety can feel like an unwelcome guest that shows up unannounced and refuses to leave. But there are ways to manage it effectively. Welcome to today's video. We all know how anxiety can sneak into our lives, whether it's before a big meeting, when trying to manage 100 things at once, or just in the quiet moments when our minds decide to focus on everything that could go wrong. It's frustrating and exhausting, right? But the good news is that anxiety doesn't have to control you. There are proven techniques to help you handle it in a healthy way. Today, we're going to explore distress tolerance strategies. These are specific tools you can use when anxiety starts to spiral, giving you the ability to calm your mind and body. We'll talk about strategies that help you stay grounded and present, no matter what life throws your way. So, whether you're struggling with anxious thoughts at work, worried about your relationships, or just feel overwhelmed, these strategies can become your go-to methods for finding your balance and building resilience. Anxiety is a shapeshifter. It can sneak up on you when you least expect it, like when you're getting ready for that big presentation, and suddenly feel your heart race, your palms sweat, and your voice start to waver. Or maybe it's that knot in your stomach when you're stuck in traffic, every second making you more agitated, like the walls are closing in. It can be paralyzing when you're waiting for an important phone call or email, and each second of silence feels like an eternity. Your mind begins to spiral. What if it's bad news? What if I'm not good enough? Those thoughts loop endlessly, feeding the anxiety until it's overwhelming. But anxiety doesn't just come out of nowhere. It often stems from our most vulnerable feelings: fear of failure, worry about judgment, or that deep-seated belief that we aren't enough. When anxiety starts to take over, it feels like a tidal wave crashing into you, leaving you gasping for breath and unable to think clearly. In those moments, it's easy to feel like you're drowning, helpless, alone, and out of control. You might find yourself replaying the same scene in your head over and over, imagining every worst-case scenario, feeling your body tense up as if it's preparing for battle. You're not just feeling anxious, you're consumed by it. And that's when things start to spiral. The more you try to fight it, the stronger it becomes, creating a vicious cycle that's hard to break free from. This is where distress tolerance strategies come in. They're the life raft in those stormy seas. They won't stop the waves of anxiety from coming, but they will help you stay afloat. They give you a way to pause, ground yourself, and remember that this wave, like all waves, will eventually pass. And in the meantime, you have tools you can rely on to regain control, no matter how intense the anxiety feels. So, what are some key distress tolerance strategies you can start using today? 1. Deep breathing. When anxiety hits, your breath can become shallow, making it hard to think clearly. Deep, intentional breathing helps calm your nervous system. Try this. Inhale slowly for 4 counts. Hold your breath for 7 counts, and exhale for 8 counts. With each exhale, imagine releasing your tension and stress. This simple exercise helps slow your heart rate and creates a sense of calm in your body. 2. Mindfulness meditation. When you're anxious, your mind often races ahead, anticipating every worst-case scenario. Mindfulness brings you back to the present. Spend a few minutes focusing on your breath or following a guided meditation. Don't worry about stopping your thoughts. Just notice them without judgment. Over time, this practice helps you build resilience against anxiety. 3. Grounding techniques. Anxiety can make you feel disconnected and overwhelmed. Grounding exercises can bring you back to the present. Use the 5-4-3-2-1 method. Name 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. This activates your senses and pulls your focus away from anxious thoughts. 4th, physical activity. When anxiety strikes, your body releases stress hormones like cortisol. Moving your body, even with a quick walk or a stretch, can burn off that excess energy and release endorphins. You don't need to hit the gym. Even a few minutes of movement can help you feel more grounded and in control. 5. Distraction. Sometimes shifting your focus is the best way to handle intense anxiety. Engage in a mentally stimulating activity like solving a puzzle or organizing a space in your home. This gives your mind a break. Once you feel calmer, you can approach your anxiety with more clarity. Each of these strategies can help you regain a sense of control when anxiety threatens to take over. Start with what feels easiest and gradually build up your coping toolkit. Over time, you'll feel more equipped to face anxiety when it arises. The next time you feel anxiety creeping in, try incorporating one or more of these strategies. Start by taking a deep breath. Notice the way your chest rises and falls, how the air feels cool as it enters your nose and warm as it leaves. This simple act of tuning into your breath can give your mind something to focus on besides the anxiety. Or ground yourself in the moment. Take a look around and describe what you see in detail. Maybe it's the texture of the carpet beneath your feet, the sound of the wind rustling outside, or the smell of freshly brewed coffee. These small observations can pull you out of your thoughts and into your surroundings, creating space between you and your anxiety. If sitting still feels too difficult, move your body, stretch your arms above your head, go for a brisk walk, or just shake out your hands. Let your body release the tension that anxiety creates. Each movement is a signal to your brain that you're safe, you're in control, and you can handle this. Remember, it's not about completely eliminating anxiety. It's about finding what works for you to navigate through it. It's okay if one strategy doesn't work every time. Maybe deep breathing helps one day, but on another day, you need to engage your senses more directly. Be flexible and gentle with yourself as you explore what works best. Building your personal toolkit of coping skills takes time and practice. You might even discover that some strategies work better in certain situations than others. The important thing is to try and see what helps you manage your anxiety in the moment. And don't forget to acknowledge your efforts. Each time you try a strategy, even if it doesn't immediately take the anxiety away, you're making progress. You're showing up for yourself and learning how to respond differently to anxiety. That alone is a victory worth celebrating. It's important to remember that anxiety is a normal human experience. We all face moments of worry, stress, or fear. It's part of being human. But what truly matters is how we respond to these feelings. Learning to navigate anxiety with compassion for yourself instead of criticism is a powerful shift. By practicing these distress-tolerant strategies regularly, you're not just managing anxiety. You're retraining your brain and body to respond to it in healthier, more balanced ways. Every time you use a strategy like deep breathing, mindfulness, or grounding, you're creating new pathways in your brain, teaching it to find calm in the storm. It might not feel like a big change right away, but over time, these small moments of choosing to respond rather than react build up, and you'll start to notice a difference. You might find yourself able to pause before reacting, or able to shift your focus away from worries more quickly. It's okay if progress feels slow at times. Healing and growth rarely happen in a straight line. Some days will be easier than others, and that's perfectly normal. On the tough days, remind yourself that the work you're doing now is laying the foundation for long-term change. Keep practicing, keep experimenting with what works for you, and keep showing up for yourself. And if at any point it feels overwhelming, remember that reaching out for support is a sign of strength, not weakness. A therapist or counselor can offer guidance, help you navigate complex emotions, and support you in developing a deeper understanding of your anxiety. You don't have to face it alone. Managing anxiety is not about eliminating it completely. It's about building resilience. It's about learning to acknowledge anxiety when it arises, finding ways to cope, and ultimately, not letting it hold you back from living the life you want. So, keep moving forward, one step at a time. With practice, patience, and support, you can learn to face anxiety with more confidence, compassion, and inner strength. If you've tried any of these strategies, or if you have others that have worked for you, Share your experiences in the comments below. Let us know if there's a topic you'd like us to cover in future videos. And don't forget to subscribe for more content on managing stress, building resilience, and finding calm in a hectic world.